The challenge often with open education resources is that they come in all shapes and sizes and can provide you some challenges both for your students and your faculty and your academic technology staff to integrate them into teaching and learning effectively. And so one of the things that we've been doing in the CSU for actually quite a long time is reaching out to the various technology companies who we think could help us solve some problems around making sure that all the content is the most affordable possible, is the most usable and supportive of an effective learning experience, is also accessible, WCAG 2.0 AA standard, so all students, including those with disabilities, have access to the materials. And we have a mechanism such as analytics to ensure that we understand how students are getting the most value out of those resources. So that was really some of the reasons behind working with VitalSource, which is, if I want to say, the e-reader for textbooks by publishers. And so we talk to them to say, well, how about we kind of distribute open textbooks through this very really worldwide platform. And so as we see on this slide, some of these benefits that can occur rather than having a PDF, the ability to highlight the text and provide notes and share with your peers, it really provides you a more engaging environment for using these open textbooks. And their abilities, they call it VitalSource Studio, where you can actually add to these resources very easily on your own. It integrates into your learning management system and all mobile devices. The issue around, again, adding interactivity that allows you to really make and customize the open textbook for your own, and for me, the critical one is around accessibility to ensure all students, including those with disabilities, have access to this. And it really begins to put the open textbooks in the same platform as all the publisher materials. And many of these are also related to the benefits that faculty can have in something along these lines. And one of the challenges, whether it's a print textbook or whether you just distribute a PDF for a textbook, we have no idea as faculty how the students are using the textbook. How much time are they spending on it? What chapters are they spending more time on it, etc. So this VitalSource platform provides analytics on how the end users, the students, are actually using those materials. So as a faculty member, you can see, is a student really accessing those materials? And if not, how can we solve those problems as quickly as possible? So make sure we can see if a student is falling behind, what steps can we take to move them forward faster? And again, for the faculty, the direct integration into the learning management system. And coming back to the accessibility, I think this is an important issue for all our faculty to really provide the resources to ensure all our students have equally effective access to these materials. So working with VitalSource, we're going to, in all activities, we're going to pilot a few resources. We're looking at chemistry and psychology and putting it into this new platform. And what's going to be important is to hear from you, from the faculty members, and hear from the students what is the value of doing this. And if we find there's a tremendous benefit for this, we will continue to pursue it. And Deb Perry asked, is it still free? So in all this, Deb, we will always have a free version of the material in the Cool for Ed repository. So as we do right now, we're building up this repository. Those materials will always be free. Now, putting it into this new platform, there will be, I'll call it a low cost, and so it might be $10 or $15 at the max type of thing. So and that's honestly, Deb, is some of the pilot we're going to see is it really worth it, or is the free really what's all that's necessary here? So in this pilot process, we're going to look at what's the advantage of the technology, does it really benefit faculty and students, and what are the cost issues too as well.
So this is still a work in progress. I'll just be giving you a little demo of the cool tools that are now available to students through this new program. As you can see, this is chapter 1, and there's a little option here that opens up a table of contents, and just this in itself allows a lot ease of navigation when compared to the PDF, in which the PDF you literally have to scroll from page to page, and with 800 pages that gets rather cumbersome. So as you can see, all of the chapters are shown as folders with drop downs that open up each section. So the little introduction to the chapter is shown here, and you can zoom in on any of the pictures to get more details and view them more closely. And you'll see a chapter outline. I'm sorry, did you want to say?
I was just going to say, and that sometimes is helpful when there's a image of a brain or some sort of anatomy thing.
Yes, yes. And as they go down, they'll find a chapter outline. And because this is interactive, they can actually navigate through the chapter by simply clicking on the various sections when noted in the text. And once they get to a section, they'll see the learning objectives at the top, which summarizes what will be covered in the chapter, just like the PDF version would. But a new interactive element that's added is that all of the vocabulary words actually have the definitions linked to them. So the user just has to click on the vocabulary word within the text, and they will be supplied with the definition straight out of the textbook. Additionally, all of the links to learning are here, which supplies any links to external resources that will supplement the learning. So we have them in here as buttons, which is a new interactive element that we think the students would really like.
And will work really well on mobile phones.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
And here is another little definition, as you can see. And this would be one of the images that a student might want to zoom in on to get a better look at the peripheral nervous system or something. And this zoomed in figures is actually very helpful as a student, I must say. And as they go down, they'll see all of the images, and all this is very interactive, as anything that they're curious about or don't understand, they can actually highlight right here within the text using this highlighting tool. So if they just highlight, and then actually everything that they highlight within the text will be saved. So I'll show you that in just a second. But they can highlight various aspects with different colors depending on what they're trying to say, and they can actually design which colors are available. So if they go in right here, all of the highlighting is customizable. So if you click on this, I could actually change this to say, instead of exams, things to ask the professor about, possibly, and you can pick any color, which, everyone likes to have their favorite color when highlighting. Additionally, you can share whether you want to share your highlighting with your friends, have it private, or public to all. So as they go through, we also have other links to learning, which are videos, which are embedded within the text, so that the user can view the video without actually leaving the textbook at all, which is also very helpful. And here's another image where just being able to zoom it in that much is a lot easier to read and improves the accessibility of the textbook. So we can see, additionally, right here when they update their highlighters, they can also look into sharing. So you can add friends that you have within your class in this section when you have an account. So then you all can see what each other are highlighting, and you can all ask each other questions within the text, which adds a new interactive element that most ebooks do not have at all. And then all of the things that I was highlighting are actually compiled into this notebook, as you'll see right here. So once you're done reading, or when you're looking to review for an exam, the student can go back and look at anything that they highlighted or were unsure about, and they can actually just click on the highlighting and be taken right to where this content was in the book. So this facilitates ease of review and make it a lot easier for them to remember where any problem areas or things they need to review were within the text.
And it's printable. And I think it's shareable in OneNote or something.
It is. It is also shareable, yes. And within all of these highlights, they can also add a note. So say you wanted to, you can add sticky notes. So just like this on this highlighted section, I would write like ask professor or whatever you wanted, and then that would be saved right there. So then you would know when you clicked on that one, it has the note associated with it. And you're also able to look at all of the figures within the text in one compiled list. So if you had one figure you were unsure about, it's a lot easier to find it within the text. And you can even actually search through the various figures. And there's also a function that allows the user to search through all of the textbook content, which as a student, I think this would have been very helpful because say you're just looking, you're writing a paper on genetics. So actually looking through the textbook and finding all the instances of genetics within a textbook would be very cumbersome, but if you simply search genetics, you can see every point that it is mentioned in the textbook. So this is very, very good in my opinion, because then you can click on it and you'll be taken right to every section that mentions any word that you need to search for. And within each chapter, we've brought in all of the elements that were in the textbook. So every chapter ends with a summary, and these are also interactive, so the user can click on the summary if they're unsure, and they'll be taken back to the section for clarification on whatever aspect they were unsure about. And every chapter ends with review questions. And in most textbooks, these are simply questions that are outlined and the user has to do them, and usually the answers maybe will be partially provided or not provided at all. But this is an interactive interface in which the user actually will enter the answers that they believe it is, and then as they scroll down to the bottom, they can check their answers and they'll be told which ones they got correct, and they can actually reveal the answers, better review, and just self-testing as they go through each of the chapters. Every chapter also has critical thinking questions, which when they answer, they will also be supplied with feedback. And this is feedback that shows the suggested response that was given in the textbook. So this allows them to compare their essay responses to suggested responses in the textbook, which gives a much more applicable way to study, as you can kind of, gauge your learning based off how close you are to these various responses.